Welcome to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJE podcast. Today we hear from Pung. Pung is a scientist, inventor, and entrepreneur. Since completing his Ph.D. in optical engineering at Clemson University, Aaron has built his experience on a wide variety of projects, including explosion diagnostics, custom laser systems, nuclear weapons safety, and satellite communications. His latest passion is developing new technology. Since 2021, he's managed to publish 6 sole author patents and 2 sole author scientific publications. His most recent project, Tandem Eyewear, has turned into a second full-time job. As founder and CEO, Aaron has developed and prototyped a brand new, never-seen-before eyewear system that eliminates 90% of the volume used in normal sunglasses. By eliminating temples, nose bridge, and rims of conventional glasses, his proprietary eyewear eliminates the pain, discomfort, and limitations experienced by 223 million people in the United States alone. But that's not all. The materials he uses to make his tandems are biodegradable and made from renewable resources. When he's not developing new technology or working on his company, Aaron enjoys spending time with his wife, Malika, and his 2 cats, Snowball and Noodle. Plan your steps and take flight. Raising the Bar, TKJE. All right, welcome to another episode of Raising the Bar, TKJE podcast. Hey, you guys, this one's going to be really cool. Today we're going to hear from Pung. Aaron is a scientist, inventor, entrepreneur, and he is the owner of Tandem Eyewear. I met this young man at a networking event, and we got to talking. He told me and showed me his product, and I was just blown away with everything that he's doing. So, Aaron, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks you so much for having me.
Hey, not a problem. You know, when I met you and I saw your presentation and everything that you're doing, I'd never seen it before, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show, because you're on the cusp of something big, from where I sit, and I'm excited to hear from you. So let's just jump right in this, man. You're a scientist, inventor, entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about yourself and really what inspired you to start your business.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm a scientist by trade, as you said, and something I've learned about myself is that I have always just been a curious person, but I've also been a creator, right? So when I see a problem, I like solving that problem, and it's not the payoff and money at the end of the problem for me, it's solving the problem itself. But as a result, I've had the chance to work on some really interesting projects as a scientist, including explosion diagnostics, where you watch stuff explode on camera again and again. I worked on nuclear weapons safety systems, satellite communications, and super high power lasers. They don't really seem connected, but I enjoy each project for what it is. There's always something new to discover, and there's another problem to solve. So if you really look around you and you really start to pay attention to what people are using, what they're wearing, and what they put up with, as it were, you begin to notice all the little things in life that just people kind of accept, right? So it's not the best way to achieve the goal, but people it's the only thing they know. Like sunglasses, for instance, right? So sunglasses have temples, the parts that go behind your ears to hold them on. And then they have the part that goes over your nose, the nose bridge. And then you also have the frames, the thing that actually holds the lenses. That's a lot of hardware just to hold 2 little lenses in place. I mean, come on, man. It's 2023. We're smarter than this, right? So Tandem Eyewear is a totally revolutionary and innovative take on the whole eyeglass process. If you really stop and think about the design, we've found a way to eliminate 90% of the volume of glasses. In fact, our flagship product is so space age that it's made from biodegradable, renewable resources. And unlike normal eyeglasses and sunglasses, you can hot swap the lenses on the fly, meaning when you walk from outside a building to inside the building, there's no more taking off glasses, putting them in your pocket, taking out another pair, putting those on. You literally just slide off one pair of lenses, slide on another pair, and you don't change what's actually holding the glasses. What inspired this Dude, I wish I had a nice, sexy story behind this, but the truth is, I walked into the kitchen one day to get a snack, and this picture just kind of appeared in my mind from nowhere. I wasn't even thinking about it, and that got me curious again, right? Here's a problem. I wonder if anyone's reached the same solution. I did a lot of research into patents and publications and social media, and I wasn't seeing anything like this. And so I decided to pursue it. And here we are on this great podcast.
Wow. Okay, so explosions to eyeglasses. That's crazy, right? Because as an entrepreneur, there are a lot of things that we start out doing, and then we find ourselves learning more about ourselves, and then learning what we're really interested in, or some of the things that motivate us. And solving problems sounds like it is a real motivator for you, which is really, really cool. And that's where a lot of successful people start, is really wanting to solve problems. This new concept, as you broke it down, and, eyeglasses and eyepieces, and, I wear readers every now and then, and you're going to, your concept eliminates everything. Like you said, 90%. When it comes to introducing this new thing, right? People, they're not into learning new things all the time. So what is it like introducing people to a concept they've never seen before?
Oh man, you are driving to the heart of the issue. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast and you have the chance, go ahead and pull up the website, Eyewear.com. Again, that's Eyewear.com. And the reason I say that is because when I explain this concept to people, the only thing they've ever seen holding lenses in front of their eyes is glasses or sunglasses or contacts. And everything is just kind of a variation on that theme, right? So when you try to explain to them, when there's, saying, oh, so it has frames. Nope. Well, okay, but it has the thing that goes behind your ears, else how would it stay on? Nah, we've done away with that too, right? So their mind kind of is in this space where they've never been before. And it's really difficult to describe, but it's really cool when they see it. When they see it for the first time, when they see that picture, it clicks, and it clicks hard. I've had people say, I want you to explain this in words, and I've just not said anything, and I've just simply shown them a picture, and they get it. They get it right away. They understand the concept. But honestly, it's hard, because you have to get past that initial conversation before you can even see the chance to show them a picture.
And it's understandable. Sometimes it's just hard to explain, but I've seen them, and I was simply blown away. So I completely agree with you, man. There are, challenges as an entrepreneur, especially with the concept that you're introducing to the world. You will have those challenges. So when it comes to overcoming those challenges, how did you overcome the initial challenges and setbacks as a startup in terms of, let's say, money, fabrication? There's a lot that goes into a basic concept. How were you able to overcome those types of challenges?
Yeah, great question. To me, one of the biggest challenges in entrepreneurship is having the will and the motivation to keep going, even if everyone and everything around you is saying no, right? It's just, you have to have that mental push for yourself, that expectation to keep going. So when I was starting Tandem Eyewear, I thought starting a business was easy. You design a widget, you make the widget, then you sucker someone into buying your widget. And then someone sees that widget in the wild and they're like, hey, that's cool. Tell me about it, right? And starts to self-advertise. But honestly, that hasn't happened until you get that for sale, and there's a big chunk of effort that goes into that sale. For instance, did you know that regular sunglasses, not prescription eyeglasses, but just regular run-of-the-mill sunglasses, are considered a Class 1 medical device, which means that they're governed by the FDA, which means that before you even sell one pair of sunglasses, you have to have an application with the FDA. That's $4,000. And then you have to register with the FDA to even be able to sell it. That's another $8,000, and you haven't sold a widget yet. Yeah, so the biggest challenge was accepting that there's so much more to entrepreneurism, especially doing the research and finding out I got to bite the bullet and pay these fees, or I got to roll back all of that effort, right? So part of this takes a toll on your time. It takes a toll on your calendar and your life. So I have friends that I used to text daily. My wife and I used to spend a lot of time together every single night, but the conversations have fallen by the wayside because I have to spend time building my brand. And you might say, well, okay, but it's your company. Can't you just go at the speed that you want? No, you can't, because the minute you start, there's pitch competitions that bring in capital that help make things easier, but you have to spend time on your pitch deck to win those competitions. When you start having beta testers for your product, those beta testers, when you advertise, you start the clock ticking. And if you wait too long, they're not interested. So now you're grinding and innovating to get out that next iteration, that next generation of innovation for them to just keep the hype, to get excited. Because if there's nothing on social media, what are you going to post about? There's a lot of challenges, but
Wow.
luckily I have a very loving and supportive wife. My wife Malika is absolutely incredible, and she's been a huge part of my success so far.
That is awesome. And it is hard and it is time consuming. And there are those times where you have to make that decision. And it's not saying that you don't love or care about friends and family acquaintances. It's more that, hey, I made a decision and I really want to pursue this, not just for my present, but for my future. Totally understand. And I get it. So as far as the product itself and how you put it together and development and everything like that, have you done any research to develop your current product, and what kind of parameters did you have to research? Like, how did it come to be in the state that it's in right now, from research, development, and, the different kind of parameters? How did that all work together?
Yeah, another great question. So our flagship product, the Tandem Eyewear system, is patent pending. And like I mentioned earlier, saying that it's patent pending means you had to write that patent. And that patent meant time, it meant money, but it also meant a lot of front end research on what exists or doesn't exist in the market right now. But even after that, once you say a patent pending, great, you still have to fabricate, you still have to make, you still have to iterate on this design to make it better. And this meant going through concepts that didn't work. So right now, if you look at the product that flashed in my mind, kind of like I was talking about earlier, and what I have right now, in between part A and part B, there's been something like a 10x reduction in weight itself. So the first product was not what I'm using right now. And it was made out of this joke of materials. But since then, I've done a lot of materials research. I've looked at different ways of sticking plastic onto your face. I've looked at different ways of sticking a lens on a piece of plastic. But even when you have that, you start thinking, what if it's not plastic? What if it's chrome? What if it's copper? What if it's carbon? What if it's all these exotic materials that could be lighter? They could be nicer. They could be shinier. But a lot of that comes with a very interesting biomechanical problem, because maybe one material sticks to your face better than silver, but silver would sell. But silver is heavier because it has a higher material density. Right. So it's no longer the picture that matters, it's the physical mechanism that allows it to do its job. And so by attacking one problem at a time, yeah, you might waste, 2 straight nights sticking stuff to your face with your wife walking by saying, oh my God, again. But those 2 days help you eliminate materials that would have been devastating to your end product. So sometimes you just have to test them on yourself, and that can take time, and it can be embarrassing when something doesn't work that you really had super high hopes for.
It just sounds like, kind of everything else, right? Where the outside sees success as start and finish, but really it's start, fail, 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 until you get to final product, until you get to success.
It's like they say, an overnight success usually takes 10 years to go.
Yeah, that 20-year overnight success. Yeah, I truly see that. And that's really cool. Knowing that you're working on this by yourself, I know there has to be, if it's not a team, it's you communicating with other people and getting to know other people and, building that circle. As far as networking, what role does networking and building meaningful relationships play in your business and on this venture?
Another out of the park question. I have this flaw where I don't like to ask for help. I like to do everything on my own. And when it fails, I can only ever get mad at myself, which has happened a lot. And so when I first attacked this, I read the book on lean startups by Eric Ries. Amazing book. And that outlines how a startup can be lean, how it can bootstrap, and how it can be successful. It's this gorgeous roadmap that you could conceivably conquer by yourself using split testing and and other factors. I was talking to somebody about it and they said, hey, you should join 1 Million Cups. And if you're not aware, 1 Million Cups is this organization of entrepreneurs that get together on a weekly basis. And it's a support group because entrepreneurism is hard. Now, I walked into this group thinking none of these people can do anything for me, right? And they said, hey, how about you just give us a chance? How about you pitch your product? Not pitch, just tell us what you're about. Maybe we can help out. And I did. I took that jump. And that 6-minute presentation to 1 Million Cups got me connections that I cannot even believe. For instance, when I was going through Lean Startup by Eric Ries, I was thinking, boy, wouldn't these glasses look really neat plastered in social media? Wouldn't it be great if an influencer picked it up? But after this presentation, I went from thinking, where am I going to find an influencer, to having a legit 500,000 follower influencer come up to me and say, no charge, I just want to help you succeed. And then I had other people, like you, who have said, hey, I would really like to spread your message, and I think it would be a great topic on my podcast. Would you please mind coming on and maybe rapping with me for a little bit on your product, see where it goes? And so this is an opportunity I never thought I'd have. So from being the guy who didn't want any help, I mean, when you ask, when you make those connections, they can go so far with you, as friends and as colleagues.
That's really cool. And I was blown away. And I think millions of people will be blown away once they really take a look at it. And what you're doing, I just think it's really cool. So the value of networking, and we've all fell into that. It's not just you, we all fall in that as entrepreneurs, right? I don't have to worry about anyone else, and I don't have to worry about letting someone down or partnering or anything like that. But the fact is I always tell people, get comfortable being uncomfortable and allowing your network to work for you. Because as much as you don't believe it or can't see it, as you build that net, you catch more people, and that net will work for you, and it will continue to build. That is really cool, man. All right, so just a couple more questions here. Well, as far as our listeners and advice, while you've been on this journey, I know that you've learned a few things, as we all do. Can you give our listeners, let's say, one piece of advice, of business advice, that has stuck with you while you've been on this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. Set it aside. And I'll dig into that by saying I am a certificated pilot. I'm a private pilot. And one of the things that somebody told me when I was becoming a private pilot, when I was all amped up to start my training, right? I hadn't even stepped in a plane, hadn't even touched a tiny plane yet. And somebody says, before you even walk into that hangar, you need to set aside $15,000 that is you're never going to see it again. It's going to come out of your bank account and that's it. Goodbye, 15 grand. And they explained to me that if you set it aside, you have this reservoir of dedication to just march forward with. But if you just kind of tinker with it and you just pay for 1 hour here, 1 hour there of flight time, it's going to be super easy to say, I'm only in 6 grand, I'm going to quit. But at the end of the day, you'd be down 6 grand and you quit. But if you set it aside, if you make that dedication in your life, if you make that dedication from your wallet and your commitment to yourself and your future, it's much easier to say, when it gets rough, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it's going to hurt and I knew it's going to be hard, but I know I can do this because I set aside a part of myself to tackle this goal. So my 3 words are set it aside.
I've never heard that. That's really cool. That's really, really awesome. Set it aside. Man, I'm gonna use that one. That's really cool. I appreciate you. Well, Aaron, thank you so much, for doing the show. And I know I was taking notes, and our listeners, I'm sure they got a lot out of it as well. As far as how to find you and how can people see? I know you mentioned the website again before, but how can people get a hold of you if they have questions, or even if maybe they want to purchase or a prototype or anything? How do they find you?
Great question. My website, tandemeyewear.com, tandemeyewear.com. On that website, there's a big, beautiful link, and that link says, click here to become a beta tester. You can't buy yet, but I'm still always looking for people to help me beta test and make this product better. I need your feedback. Your feedback is what makes this product better for you and better as a whole. So if you click on that link on my website, it'll take you straight to a contact sheet, and that'll get directly in touch with me.
Awesome. Tandemeyewear.com. That's really awesome interview, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Much success to you moving forward. Set it aside. I'm going to remember that as well. Thank you so much. And I know we will see you in the future, and we will see your product in stores and online in the very near future. So Aaron, thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it, and more power to you with the KJ effect.
Appreciate it.
TKJE